welcome to the fifth and final of the Score Project podcast. 3 Ps in a podcast.
Number 5.
We actually made it to the end of Score.
Yeah,
we did it. We did it.
Yeah, we've done it. Well done, boys.
Made one every week. Got it done.
As promised.
But today we have our final and special guests, Casey Facker and Paul Albany.
Yeah.
What's up, boys?
What's up?
So I'm under the impression you boys have been doing an independent project too.
Indeed.
We have.
Producing an album. You
Making
want
an album.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically, Paul's a guitarist. I make beats in Ableton, and we did a nice little collaboration. So basically, Paul kind of does the recording side of things. I just kind of use his samples and like construct them into beats and songs that we made. Paul does some singing.
And you got
a little bit of singing.
Answer my question, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you sing a bit, Casey, or is it mainly?
I haven't.
Paul?
I mean, I do sing, but like I have not. We haven't made a song for this album where I have sung.
I think vocals
It's
are
possible.
one aspect of this album we need to like add to a little bit.
Yeah,
But
because
not all
like
music
we
has
could
vocals.
add vocals, and like we kind of have like a big catalog of songs that we can add. So, but I think we're gonna be pretty strict in terms of like what we actually throw on there. So it might end up being somewhere between 5 and 8 songs. Probably 5. We'll probably end up with 5.
I'm
but
sure
we
you
could
get-
have up to 8.
You get a little bit of vocals just from the sampling, right? Do you sample like
so
vocals?
well, I don't always sample. Like mainly, it's been instrumental, just because like I'm not sampling anything I'm downloading off the internet. It's just like we record Paul's guitar in one way, and then we like try to figure out some like aspect that we can work in, and then we'll like do a different thing, like whether it could be like a bass line that Paul's playing on his guitar, because we have like a lot of different like pedals and effects to like add and change the sound of the guitar, along with what I'm doing in the program as well.
But we're basically done recording like instrumentation.
Yeah,
It's
basically
a lot of, like,
I just have to
construction now.
just like
It's
arrange
construction
stuff.
and we might add vocals.
Yeah,
Awesome.
That's about it. Yeah.
the instrumentals are basically done.
So what like genre are you like?
Yeah,
guys?
just because
Great question.
music,
'Cause there's no
music
vocals.
It's kinda
today
hard.
like usually falls into some kind of category or a blend of categories.
Okay, so if we're gonna post it on
fall-
iTunes,
Okay.
and it's gonna be I'm thinking just alternative.
Alternative, yeah, that's
Because
that
that,
would make more
encompasses
sense,
it,
yeah.
but that's obviously doesn't. It's like electronic.
Yeah,
but
we're
it's
doing
like,
everything.
Well, I feel like
from-
alternative is just like an all-encompassing like umbrella of a genre.
Yeah, I would
it's
say
just like
it's alternative
everything
closer
else.
to electronic.
Yeah.
But it's
I
like
see.
there's influences.
But we're playing
everywhere.
everything from trap to some lo-fi.
Yeah, like, it's-
some
there's-
acoustic tunes.
There's one song that we'll play later that's just like a trap banger that like it's just like 808s just hit. But then like we got the other one, which is we're gonna play 2 songs on the podcast. I think we have 2 like fully ready that we can share. But we have another one that is just like it's a couch lock. You just sit down and you just like absorb like just like the journey of the song. It's a much different feel than like so we have a very wide variety of genres.
That's awesome.
I would say.
With you going in like that alternative category, is that your boys' like favorite genre, or is it just
That what
something
you
you
chose
chose to
I
do?
mean, like, in terms of like what I listen to, like me and Paul have very similar music tastes.
Yeah.
Sort of like into the alternative, like electronic pop stuff, but we also like like indie bangers and
and
classic
like
rock and
trap
stuff like
is
that.
like some of our roots, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we gotta
the
pay
trap is the
homage.
roots.
Well, do you have like any big influencers? Like, are there any artists that instead of
okay.
genres
Well, okay, so-
specifically,
Yeah,
going
go for
down into it in the artists themselves?
Yeah, so our number one, like our biggest inspiration is probably Clarence Clarity, who anybody listening should definitely check out.
Definitely check out.
Some great
I would say there is a single song by the band Tropical Frick Storm, and it is
It's
called
not Frick, but
it's the F word, but
Yeah.
we can't say that.
we
Keep it
can't
PG,
say it
keep it
live.
PG.
But
School project.
it's called Soft. No, it's
Shellfish
called
Toxin.
Shellfish Toxin. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you can.
And it
you don't
should be
have to
off
talk that close
the It's on their latest album, Laughing Death in Meat Space. So I definitely think everyone should check that one out. Any
Yeah,
more?
well,
great
we can
title.
play
Every
that
name
song,
you
and
off
we'll.
is, like, insane.
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
I
song we should definitely play that song because, like you said, we could play some of our
Well,
like
yeah.
influences.
Do you want to listen
Yeah,
to a
that's what I was
couple?
saying. Yeah, because
Okay,
songs?
so let's listen to
yeah,
the first one that's similar to this Shellfish Toxin song. Should we play the Shellfish Toxin song first? Or
yeah.
the...
If that's what you're inspired
That's our
by, maybe.
inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
And then
say
see,
Yeah.
and then we
that's
can,
our number one inspiration for this
'Cause-
album.
because then we can kind
Yeah.
of see your guys' like where you take inspiration from specifically
Yeah.
from maybe that song.
Like any other one.
Yeah, I would say that is the closest inspiration for this album.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like in terms of getting. Oh, I just hit the mic.
Say the name again.
Shellfish Toxin.
Just pulling the song up here, so you boys can listen at home.
I think it'll just
Oh,
come
yeah,
through the
there it is.
mics, but
So Shellfish, this is an interesting song.
we just gotta stay silent for this one and just like
Mm-hmm.
absorb it, you know.
Yep. You guys will get to listen.
I don't know if we'll listen to the whole thing, but we'll definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just listen to a bit.
5 minutes.
How long is this song?
5 minutes.
It's like an experience song.
Okay.
Dude. Can I just say the album cover for this?
Yeah, the
is
album cover is
absurd.
Yeah.
it's pretty intense.
Yeah, you show the camera that. Show that to the camera.
Dude, it's sick.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah. Show it to the camera. There you go. Now is this? I mean, is there lyrics in this? Just real
No.
quick.
No.
So, okay.
No, it's just
Yeah.
production.
I was wondering.
It's amazing.
Well, it's like a band, but like there's a lot
Yeah,
of production.
It's a punk
in the song,
band.
too. Yeah, it's a
Australian punk band.
Australian punk band.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
they make
sick.
some weird shit. They're like one of the weirdest bands.
Some
Yeah.
weird what?
Some weird stuff.
Shiitake mushrooms.
Yeah.
Shiitake mushrooms.
Feels like the sound of music.
I feel that.
It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, like.
All right, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good.
Well,
song.
that's not. You want to play the
Should I
song?
play-
right?
you want
there-
to play the good part?
Okay, let's.
Well, yeah, there's a good part.
I'll just play
Yeah, there you
like
go.
this.
Wow.
Is that like a violin?
Dude, it's anything you want it to.
It's anything
definitely
it
a
wants to
violin.
be.
Now it's not.
Yeah, it's.
Really good.
Yeah. Tons of different aspects.
All right, that's kind of a pretty good idea of what's going on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that.
That's one
of
of
those
those songs.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
very
one of those
dissonant.
songs that's just like it's like a journey in of itself.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
listen
You know?
to
It's-
the
it
entire
switches
thing,
up.
because
Yeah.
it's all about the switch ups.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
switches up so many times.
Do you try and do that in your music?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Switch it up. Is that like a main focus of
Yeah,
yours?
one of
Yeah.
those songs we'll show you has a huge key change, switch up right in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah. So there's one song in particular that is that song is definitely like
Mhm.
you'll hear the inspiration.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Are there any like popular artists that have influenced you? Like
Oh.
or maybe
Mainstream that
even
people
more
might know.
mainstream.
That
Yeah.
people might
Oh,
know.
definitely. Yeah.
You know,
Let me
like
think.
maybe
Some kind of
ones
an
that
idea.
like. Because I feel like these are a lot of the ones that fueled the alternative part of you. But you said that there
for
were
the-
other parts
For the
of you.
trap side of things, I'd say Kenny Beats.
Kenny Beats,
Mhm.
JPEG Mafia, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Other artists.
Yeah, like the
don't
sort of
really know.
experimental, like Ski Mask a little bit, like those kinds of beats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
man?
no,
I
you're
know
right.
Like,
exactly what you mean.
They have like
Yeah.
very like gritty percussion that just
Yeah.
like hits you,
and
Mhm.
just
like just
intense,
filthy 808s,
aggravating 808s.
that
yeah.
sort of thing. Because I started out just making like hip hop beats, so like
Yeah.
How
that-
long have you been doing that, by the way?
Yeah.
like two years.
2
I don't-
years.
I'm not exactly
Wow.
How
sure
did
how
you
long.
find like the passion? I guess like where did it come from?
Dude, it was
was
random.
it
It
always
was like
building up or
so.
like,
My brother plays guitar, and I
Mhm.
was like, my mom and I were looking for a birthday present for him, and he still uses GarageBand.
Mm-hmm. Does he
and
still like even?
he still
today?
uses it now. Actually, he's probably gonna get
Wow.
Logic soon, but yeah. So he still uses GarageBand, but like we wanted to get him like better software, just because it's like his like passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked into FL Studio, and we bought FL Studio, but like we were gonna return it because like that's FL Studio is like not good for guitar. Like
Yeah,
recording,
not good
right?
for recording. Better for producing.
Yeah, so I just like I downloaded the demo of FL Studio, and I just fucking fell in love. I just swore. I'm sorry.
Dude,
continue.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine, dude. Go for it.
Cut it out, maybe.
No, just
Yeah, we'll edit it.
go. No, just go for it, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from, and so I was on FL Studio for about a year,
Mm-hmm.
and a year and a half, and then I recently switched to Ableton.
Awesome. How have you found the switch? Is there
switch up was
are there
hard.
differences between the two?
I mean, a lot of people don't really know what I'm talking about, but yeah, there's differences. They're both people don't give FL Studio enough credit, I feel like.
These are
'Cause-
programs, by the way.
Yeah.
Like music
Oh,
production.
yeah.
FL
programs.
Studio definitely has a reputation of being like kind of crappy,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like I kind of went off on FL Studio, but eventually
Well, that's
I
the one
needed
that
to
you
switch.
grew up like using.
Yeah, that's
and
what
that's
I
how you
learned
like
on.
you gained a lot of your knowledge from.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely good software to start out on, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can't really jump into like deep end,
Ableton.
really.
Ableton is I would say it's definitely tougher. It's like very different. in
I mean,
terms
But
of the way
it's
set
like
up.
the professional grade.
Yeah, I mean,
Software
of course,
program.
of course.
Does
what
it
the
make
pros use.
recording stuff easier?
Not Ableton is
No.
like key for like creativity, but like
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
recording,
Warpage.
Logic.
Sound.
Oh,
like,
Logic or
design.
what's the one that Ryan uses? Studio
Studio
One.
One.
Studio One.
That one's good too.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Can't really go wrong too much.
And Paul, where did you, I guess, find like your inspiration? Because of course you play the guitar,
Yep.
and like, when did you like, I guess, fall in love, like Casey was saying?
Oh yeah. So I've been playing guitar since I was like 8 years old.
Wow.
I'm actually
Some
into.
time. Done.
Some serious time.
I'm into like playing jazz music, even though like I hate listening to jazz because it's like really annoying to listen to, but it's super fun to play. So I was been into like jazz guitar, and that gets you into like some weird stuff. So then
Mhm.
after I started listening to music sophomore year, like more heavily, and first thing I was into was like the trap stuff.
Mhm.
You know, like a lot of stuff Evan likes.
Yep.
And then I kind of got into it more, started getting into like a little more electronic stuff, more punk. Went back to like even classic rock roots, just
Mhm.
exploring like all sorts of stuff. Then I got heavy into the experimental stuff.
Mhm.
And, you
well,
know,
that's
me
what
and-
you're into now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A lot of what you listen to is very experimental, at least from what
Pretty
I've
much,
heard.
Yeah, like I mean artists like O1 Tricks Point Never.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
Danny.
crazy.
Yeah.
The Station.
Yeah.
Listen to
Oh.
the station. We
Yeah.
could maybe play it as well.
Maybe.
Dude, I don't know.
Possibly.
It's
possible,
a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot.
It's
Listen-
a lot.
Yeah, a lot of
But
Yeah.
anyways,
It's a lot of
Casey
noise.
was making his music, and we're like best friends, you know. So we had an idea for a while about making an album,
Aw.
and then Mr.
That's so
Wallman recommended to me that I just make an album for our score project,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, yeah, let's do
Well,
it.
yeah,
We were both down.
you've pretty much been doing what we were doing, is just creating something yourself without sort of any
Something
like
you
anything
like.
looming
Yeah,
over you, any
exactly,
sort
yeah.
of company that you're a
Yeah.
part of or anything.
For sure, yeah.
You've just been doing everything yourselves.
Yeah,
Which I think's like a harder.
It's
in a
hard-
way,
in
yeah,
some
because
sense.
there's
Yeah.
no one
I feel like-
telling us really that like
Yeah.
we need to do this. We need
It's
to do
hard.
that.
It's hard to find that self motivation.
Yeah.
Very
You know,
true.
to actually get. Have you guys experienced that a lot?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
dude.
in
we've had troubles getting the motivation to grind out tracks a lot of the time.
I mean,
Same
the
with
one
us, yeah.
outlet for that has been painting, probably. So when we're lacking in inspiration, we'll, just pull out the paints, get some
Really?
creativity
Get some
going.
Is
juices
that
going.
is
Yeah.
that relatively new? Is that something that you guys just
Honestly,
came
we-
up with for this album, or have you been doing it before?
We've been
Doing it for a
painting for a
while,
while.
yeah.
It was just kind of one day, like we just like went down to an art supply store, picked up some paints, and
Mhm.
started painting.
Yeah, and
That's
that gets
awesome.
the juices flowing when we're not feeling so inspired.
Do you-
know?
how do
Or
you
we'll,
take
like, go to the
inspiration from that?
woods, hang out a little, like just be in nature,
How do
No,
you
all
gain
sorts
the
of stuff.
inspiration? Like, how do you take the inspiration
Sounds
from that?
weird.
From
Yeah.
like walking around or from painting something? Like
Like,
what aspects of it do
usually
you
we
look
fuel
at
each
for
other, I feel
inspiration?
like.
Yeah, like we just sort of talk, and also like sitting in a room like this is you can't really gain inspiration that way. If I'm like walking through the woods
Yeah.
talking to my friend
Mhm.
and it's just like thinking about like the overarching like idea that we'll have for this album,
Mhm.
then I feel like that sort of stuff is much better if you're
So
like
it seems like a
yeah.
lot of the ideas for
nature.
this album and surrounding it just came from the two of you talking together.
yeah,
and
so there was like
Definitely.
one
Conversations
time
and
where
different
so
ideas
we went to
clashing.
Yeah.
we basically just like went on a walk and just like talked the album out to try to just like
Mhm.
flesh out like what
Yeah.
are we doing here.
That's awesome.
And so
And we
basically and we
basically-
recorded some stuff, just like ideas to like use in the album, and I actually used some of the recording.
Mhm.
Like in a song we'll play later is there's a recording from that like time where we were in the woods.
Yeah,
We, like, thought
basically
about the ideas.
the entire album was created based on an experience, like just an experience we had just like walking around in the woods. We were like, we need inspiration for this album. We're gonna go to the woods and just like hang out and just like see what creativity
Just
just
stir
like hits
something
us.
up.
I mean,
Yeah.
it seemed to work. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It
we
seems
were
like you
like-
guys have been able to piece
Yeah.
it
We
together.
recorded our entire brainstorm session and we created the album. So yeah,
That's awesome.
And we used snippets of the audio
within
in
the songs. Yeah.
So did you record the conversation?
Yeah,
The
I
entire
pulled up my
conversation.
phone and did like a little voice memo.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually smart. So that you can remember all like the smaller bits of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
add it to the album. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How have you guys found the work aspect of it? Have you found that it's like interfered with maybe even your own jobs or school at all? With the amount of work
I'm
that
sure
you're
it's
putting
a
in?
lot like yourselves. Like we're finding that when we have the time, we'll take it, but we're in no rush to really force anything. When it's just
Mhm.
not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
and that's
okay
not
with taking
something
a step
you can
back.
do though. Like, especially for you guys in the album, like you can't really force that.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of times we'll
Exactly.
sit
Yeah.
down to
Yeah.
record and then like he'll play something and like I'll try to loop it and it like sounds okay, but then we
It's
just
not
kind of
great,
it's
yeah.
so like
Yeah.
it has to like hit in
And
order
some
for
days it does.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
Like just
we-
yesterday, we had a pretty good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yesterday we had we got a lot
Um,
done.
That's all. Yeah, we've experienced a lot of stuff similar to that.
Yeah,
Actually, it's just
exactly.
like some days we'll all get together and sit down to record, and we're not feeling it.
Yeah.
Like we just
Mhm.
none of us are like awake enough or anything like that. We can't record.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have that kind of flexibility though, and that's kind of why I like being in an independent project instead
Definitely.
of
Yeah.
working for a company.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
a lot more like if there's just a day where I can't do it, I don't have to do it, and I can make up the hours on another day when I really want to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like on Monday this week, Ike and I had an AP test first like 4 or 5 hours a day,
Mhm.
and Addie had one when we got out,
Mhm.
and we couldn't really do much without him.
Yeah,
We
it
couldn't
was just
record.
just a day where like we couldn't get together and
Yeah.
record. So then we just made it up the next day by
doing like
editing a
almost double
whole
hours,
video
yeah.
and
Yeah.
posting it and everything like that.
Yep.
You
So
know?
the hours are all there. I feel same for you boys, but it's just like they're not in like set 4-hour
Yeah.
chunks every
Exactly.
day.
It's
Yeah.
it's a bit more
It's like
flexible.
you might have like a 6-hour day where you just sit and like
Yeah.
grind and just like
Facts. Yep.
trying
Yeah.
to produce this
100%.
product. Really.
Very true.
Whereas I feel like a lot of people who are working for some sort of institution, they're going in every single day for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Whereas instead, we're maybe not going in every single day, but some days we'll put in like 6 hours or more
Yeah.
just on one project.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
if one person goes home to either edit the video or start the upload process, like that's
Mhm.
extra hours for them specifically.
Mhm.
But as a group, we're all putting in our own effort.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
Have
Like-
you guys I know we've experienced this, but have you found it to be a little bit more work than you anticipated?
I would
When first going in?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's definitely been a grind because like basically like the way we're at it now is Paul will just go home and just absolutely yam on his guitar. Like he will just like
Yeah.
respect.
like
I've been
like he's
practicing,
been learning
like,
some crazy stuff.
I've been practicing a lot more lately, but I've also been writing music. And then that's actually a recent thing because that helps me go in and at least have an idea of what I want to record for Casey.
Mhm.
Because Casey really is taking most of the work
Like
on
the
this.
arrangement stuff.
Yeah,
like
he has
the,
to do all the arranging, all the mixing. Almost most of the creativity going into every song is done by Casey.
Mhm.
I'm
I
really
wouldn't-
just the signal, giving him like the material, and then he manipulates it to make it sound what we like.
Mhm.
Well, it's just like kind of like the field that we're in that's just sort of necessary.
Yeah.
That you need that like production like
Exactly.
blanket in
We're
order
we're
to,
not
like, make-
making like a
They fit together well.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're not like a rock band. We can't just like record a one take of a single song and
Mhm.
have that be our recording. We need a
Yeah.
lot of production to make our stuff sound good.
Yeah.
Well, just going back to what you were saying earlier about you practicing more, like I know for a fact that both of you have done this before the album started,
Yeah.
just in your own time. Just like when you have some downtime, you'll play on
Record,
guitar
yeah.
and you'll play or play around in some production, make some beats,
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Have you found that you're working on it more? Like you're spending more hours with it and are you still finding the same enjoyment out of it?
I'm definitely working more and I'm not finding as much enjoyment out of it.
Yeah,
Really?
that's very true.
Yeah. Like I'm still enjoying it. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. It's just like having that like sort of looming like requirement that I have to get like 5 complete songs out by this Friday.
Yeah, it's like having deadlines
It's
for it makes it a
difficult,
little
yeah.
bit harder.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think-
You
that's
still
very
like
true.
what you're doing, but you don't like it
Mhm.
because of that
Yeah.
deadline.
Yeah.
I think
You
I
want
feel like,
And, like,
we've
being-
experienced that too.
Yeah,
like we
we have
love
fun
making
doing this,
Yeah,
like-
it's so much fun,
That's
but there
why
are
we're
some
doing it,
days
yeah.
where it's just like we have to get something done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's
a lot
not
of work.
we can't do it.
It's same as like what we talked about earlier with like forcing it. Like,
Yeah.
We can't really force out content because when we talk for like an hour at a time.
Mhm.
And that conversation, besides the research we do before, is just like naturally flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mhm.
we don't plan out like, all right, we'll talk about this for 10 minutes and this, like every like 2 minutes or whatever. We don't
Mhm.
plan
Yeah,
out like
we-
the smallest increments.
We only did that for
The
one
conspiracy
actually.
theories
No,
one.
no, the conspiracy
Yeah.
theories and the time travel one when
Oh yeah,
we
that
split it
one
up
too.
into blocks. But the 2 interviews
Besides
were pretty
that,
much.
Yeah.
We were
it's
just like, all right, we have a set list of
Yep.
questions that we kind of want to direct the conversation towards.
Yeah,
but
like, we
let's
had
just
an idea.
let's
Where
just let it
goes,
go.
goes.
Yeah.
Let's just let it go, and if we need to refocus,
Yeah.
we can bring one of these in,
Going
or if
back
the
to not
conversation
forcing
flows
it.
into
Yes,
it, you know.
exactly.
Basically the same with making music.
Mhm.
Literally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know everyone's probably wondering, and we haven't gotten to talk about it yet. What's your band name?
Oh,
do
that's
you guys
true.
call
We don't know
yourself?
the name yet.
Our band name is Kirkostatch.
Say it again.
Kirkostatch.
Kirkostatch.
Yeah.
Okay, and any inspiration behind the name at all?
Not really.
No,
it's
not
just sort
really.
of like
Just
a
a name.
It just
I
came.
mean,
it's
it
just a
has
name.
some inspiration behind it, but if we told you, that'd be.
yeah, you gotta figure it out for
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
Oh.
It's like it's a
We're
little bit
an
of a mystery.
elusive. We're an elusive
Elusive
duo. Yeah.
We like
Well-
to stay underground.
Yeah. Underground scene is where we're like rats, crawling through the tunnels.
Like ants.
Yeah.
I think the next logical point is
To
to
play some
play
of your
some-
music.
play some of the music.
Yeah, let's get-
Let's get it going.
Could be a minute, guys, but stay with us here.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna play some songs.
We're back.
What's this
Yeah.
one titled? Does it have a title?
Does it have a title?
Oh, Great Leap Forward.
Yeah, the
Great Leap Forward.
Okay.
that was Great Leap Forward.
That was
Kirkostatch,
great.
me and Paul.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought
liked
it
it.
blended the two of you really
yeah,
well.
That's very true because you can hear Paul's guitar, but you can also hear the distortion and like what you
Yeah.
specifically did to
Mhm.
it.
So every sound in that, except for the drums and obviously Paul's voice, or I'm not gonna say every sound, but like the vast majority of the sounds in that are Paul's guitar. So like
Yeah.
the
Oh,
bass
really?
line-
Bass, yeah.
So you use your guitar for pretty much everything.
yeah.
yeah,
For almost all of the audio, and then he distorts it in the way
yeah,
and organizes it in the
It's
way
just
that
like
makes it sound good.
hundreds of little bits of recording
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
I, like kind of slapped
Oh,
together.
wow.
That are spliced together, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for Casey, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Basically,
like-
there were 2 solos that we recorded over a pretty simple, like, finger-picking melody.
Yeah.
And then Casey, like, spliced up those solos and arranged them in a specific way.
Awesome.
That's how we make a lot of our music.
Oh yeah, is there other methods that you guys use?
I
Or
mean,
is that just the main
um,
one you go to?
that's kind of like the
The one
produ-
you've been
like
using
what production
recently.
is
Yeah.
really just like
Oh, okay.
taking samples and arranging them in a specific way. I mean, it's just like the samples I'm using just happen to be Paul's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you use, but in like a normal song, if you weren't making it for the album, those samples would come from anything. Like you
Yeah, a
could
lot
just
of
sample
most of the time
anything.
I'm like I would
Voicemails.
make my own samples.
Yeah.
So like you can just use like MIDI controller. I mean, I know like basic music theory, so I can make like chord progressions
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I take that, I'll bounce it to audio, so then I'm just working with audio. That's my bread and butter,
Oh, wow.
Just like
No.
using audio bits.
I think what I really liked is how it faded in and out
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the song goes in.
That
It
was
fades.
You kind of go with it as well.
Yeah.
It does a good job of
And
drawing you
I
with
thought
the song.
a lot of it was over Paul's guitar. So you would have his guitar almost like fade and vibrate
Yeah.
Mhm.
as the song goes on. It was really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I definitely saw the inspiration from from some of the artists
Yeah,
that you showed.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the idea of
can
a
tell.
song being like a journey or a story was definitely prevalent
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
song. Like it definitely seemed to take you as it went, and you weren't looping back to stuff.
Mhm.
It was almost like you were just letting it go.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was
It's
really
not
interesting.
everyone's cup of tea, but I feel like our music probably serves a purpose in that it just like, yeah, like you
Well,
said,
music
it's just
isn't for everybody.
very,
Not every genre's for everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Like we
I
just
mean-
kind of made the music that like we would want.
Yeah,
to listen to.
exactly.
Exactly.
You can't.
Well, I mean
don't
that's
expect
how
anything
you
else.
do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you get the passion from genuinely enjoying the
Yeah.
music that you're making.
So you're gonna put out a good product because you're passionate about it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
What we listened to was good. I mean, good singing.
I
as
enjoyed
well.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice
I thought
vocal
that was-
I
I
didn't
thought
know
that
at
was-
first that was
Yeah,
you.
I didn't- me
There's
neither.
some it wasn't the cleanest recording. I feel like it could have done better.
I think it
but-
kind of adds to it though. I kind
Yeah,
of
so
liked
the
it.
distortion.
a little
Yeah.
lo-fi,
Yeah.
yeah, a
Yeah.
little lo-fi, yeah.
That's what I like.
Thank
about
you,
it.
though.
To that
Yeah.
I thought it was
alternative.
interesting that the two of you were able to put your voices on that without any vocal training, like formal vocal training, because
Yeah,
neither of
it's
you
not
guys have taken
that.
voice lessons or.
You just
Done-
kind of have to
even
just
done
like
Yeah,
before.
like
start
I'm not
singing.
good at singing.
Yeah, like I'm not.
I
Good
mean,
at
to me,
singing
it
either.
sounded pretty good. For somebody
Yeah,
who's had
but-
no training with it, I
Yeah,
thought it
that-
sounded really
Thank
well.
you. Yeah,
really good.
but, I mean, it's really, I don't know what I'm doing. No, I'm not even like
okay.
I seriously don't.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah,
You're only pretty
Yeah,
good
yeah.
considering you're starting and you don't know.
yeah, and you'll only get better with practice. In the
exactly.
same way that we have, like the more you
Mhm.
practice, the better you get at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, have you guys been experiencing that? Like the more songs you create, the
I
better
think
and
we're
better
definitely
they
getting
get.
better at working together.
Yeah, definitely.
But like
In terms of
we
actual,
do a very unique. I feel like us creating a song will be unlike anyone else kind of creating a song together. We have like a very like specific way to do it that probably like wouldn't. It's just like
Wouldn't
Yeah,
appeal
it's
to many
very-
other
it's
people.
just like kind of
it's very strange.
yeah, and
Mhm.
just like
It's just
We
because
just
like
kinda
our
sit
difference
down,
in skill
chill,
sets.
and,
Because
like,
Paul
record.
is just like the guitarist, and I'm just like the producer, and neither of us know really that much about each other's like thing.
yeah,
But it
we
kinda
don't
works
know.
like-
Yeah,
It
Works
took a
its way
long
out.
time in order to like actually be like,
Productive and understand
in
how we
making
Mhm.
songs.
make a song. Yeah.
Yeah,
I see that. Like you had to work together to build a
Yeah.
relationship around it and figure out what
Yeah.
each person does and how they do it and everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Has it gotten easier though?
Definitely.
Like the more you've done it,
Yeah.
have you found the songs to get easy or like better? Have you enjoyed
Not
them
really.
more?
Not really.
Like it's just gotten easier to, cause like we both started with like a pretty decent amount of experience in doing what we do, you know. So like maybe marginally better, but I wouldn't say that it's like night and day. Like we're learning how to do this. The hardest part was like working with Paul.
Yeah.
You know.
If
I
we
see.
became like, if we were doing this for longer than just score,
It would have gotten better.
We would have gotten better, and I would have needed to step my game up. Like, I would have needed to like learn more about what Casey's doing, because Casey's has the more important like part of this process, and also I should be composing like more of my own actual music.
Well, you have actually.
I've started doing that, but like.
There's been like we're making songs that you like arranged. Like,
Yeah.
Has it been a lot more improv in the past?
It's almost all improv.
Oh, so you're relatively new to like composing your
Yeah,
own music.
Exactly. Yeah.
Has that gotten easier at all? Like, have you been able to?
I've like
organize
only
more?
just really started doing that. It's like time consuming, and it's also kind of boring, but it can be nice when it like comes out.
Yeah.
Nice.
How does it compare to improving everything?
I'm more able to like create a better sounding like final product,
I see.
but it's more difficult to like execute because
It takes
I've
more
gotten
time.
so used to just like soloing on a specific key or a specific like song, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Have you been composing for this album, or has it been
Just like
pretty much improv?
one or two songs.
One or two songs.
I've like tried to compose, and even then Casey's still doing most of the arranging.
Well, I mean, speaking of some other songs, should
Oh,
we
yeah.
listen to the second
Yeah, we
one?
can.
Throw a
Let's
new
listen
one
to
on.
this other
All
one.
right. What is this one called?
Here, it's we don't have a name for it yet, actually.
Yeah.
What kind of vibe is that? I guess. Is it? The same,
This is more of a
different?
trap instrumental. It's sort of a banger, heavy 808s.
I see. So
Or
freestyle beat?
less of like the alternative
Exactly.
influence and more of the trap influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
For
gonna
it?
hear less of Paul's guitar is on this, and but it is less prevalent.
I see. All right, let's give it a listen. All right, we're back. I mean, what a song.
Wow,
It's-
I like that one.
It was
Yeah.
very
Crazy-
different.
Crazy beat.
Very different from the first one. I definitely heard a lot of the trap influence.
But
in
also
that.
some of your more alternative stuff,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
what your roots
Yeah.
are from. And I like how you tied it all together and kind of incorporated this, like,
Mhm.
kind of not necessarily brand new, but kind of like a unique vibe.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
Thanks,
I think
dude.
that's the best part about it.
Yeah, I think
Unique.
the blending that you guys have done between genres is really interesting. Because
you hear both.
I think,
You hear
yeah,
both
I think it's
sides.
very clear that you guys don't fall into a genre.
Yeah.
It's very much like you're just a culmination of a couple different aspects from a
But
lot
that
of
is
different
your
genres.
own genre.
Yeah,
you,
you
you
not
do
being
what
in
you
it.
like.
Yeah, you've made your own type of music,
Yeah.
pretty much, with
phenomenal.
this,
I-
which I
yeah, we
thought was
definitely
really
have
interesting.
A unique style. Like Paul was saying earlier, like a lot of the stuff that we end up making, like regardless of whether or not it's trap or like some of the more like calming stuff, like the other song,
Mhm.
it's been like kind of glitch music almost.
Yeah.
Like the production style, like my production style is very glitchy. Like I like to
Yeah.
reverse stuff, pitch stuff
Mhm.
around, keep it.
Are there any artists that you sort of
Oh.
relate to glitch music a little
Clarence
bit more?
Clarity,
Clarence Clarity
is
is
like
the biggest
number one, and I know
Clarence
nobody
Clarity.
knows who that is,
But everyone should get
No
check
idea.
check
Sorry.
him
Yeah.
out after.
Well, you
this
said
album.
he was a big influence for you guys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially
he's both of our favorite artists.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That much? Are
He's
there any
amazing.
aspects of it that make it glitch music?
Well, he just has a very maximal. He's a producer as well, so
Mhm.
he just like, you know, he sits in his room and he just like spends hours and hours and hours like working on his like 3 seconds of his song
Mhm.
to make it like so dense,
Mhm.
which is why I like it so much because every time you listen to it, you hear something new.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I
some of the
see.
most interesting and like just complex music that just makes you
Does it require a lot of thinking to listen to that
Yeah,
kind of music?
you can't
Like,
you
have
can't
to
do it
focus in.
lightheartedly. Everything about his songs is like very very dense. From
you
the
have to like
lyrics
pay attention
to the
like you have
small
to like
things.
sit
You have
Yeah.
to pay
down and, like,
attention. Yeah.
You have to listen to every aspect of it, and you'll miss some stuff, and over time you
Yeah.
listen to all of it.
Yeah,
So I
like my
think the
favorite
whole-
song by him is called "Live in the Septic," and it took me
that's
like
my favorite one
yeah,
too.
it took me like probably 25 listens before I was like, "This is my favorite song."
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
Like
It
I
was
didn't
the
even
same way for
realize,
me.
Like
Yeah.
that it was that dope
There
until like
some artists you need to force yourself to really
yeah,
love, and
because
he's one of
you
them.
guys have been hype on Clarence for a while,
Yeah.
and I didn't get it for
I
so
believe,
long.
I believe that now his debut album is like the best album like ever. It's my favorite album ever.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
I love it.
really really good.
Yeah. It's
Alive in the Septic like changed my perspective on him
Yeah.
for sure.
It's a banger. Yeah. It's good stuff.
It's really good.
Is he
It's
super
really good.
like low key? I guess like
Pretty
does
low
not many
key.
people
like
know him. Or...
20,000.
He's
followers on
technically like
SoundCloud
a
or something.
pop artist. He
Yeah,
does
he's, like,
production
pop.
for like Rina Soyana. I don't know
I
if
don't
you
know who
know.
that
Never
is.
heard of her. No, she's
Just
a
like a
Never
Just
heard
a
of
pop star.
she's like more underground than he is though.
almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
he's very underground.
But the underground is where it's at. I love the
It's where
underground.
the
That's where everything started.
Well,
Yeah.
you'll find a lot more creativity and experimental
because like
stuff in
underground,
there.
yeah.
if you're
you
trying
know?
to appeal to more people, you have to do less crazy stuff. You know.
Exactly. You need
Yeah.
to play it safe. And when you're not trying to appeal to anyone, just do your own thing. You can kind of get more crazy.
Mhm.
I really respect.
Have you
that
guys
for
experienced a lot of that? You can just,
I mean-
you have complete freedom,
Yeah.
and you're not trying to appeal to anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't care if anyone listens to our album.
Yeah, like I
Like,
just want
honestly,
to
I
make
kind of
some
hope
cool stuff.
people don't. Like, I just don't care. But
Kinda
like,
same with us.
Yeah.
Like I want people to listen to these, but at the same time, it's like I don't blame you if you're not
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah, and to be
hour-long
totally honest,
podcasts.
it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, but
Like,
like,
you know,
Because it's the fun in doing it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the
I
joy
get
in
my
doing it.
fulfillment in not people watching it and me getting, like, I guess a high off of tons of views.
Yeah.
I just get like really happy just doing it. It's a lot of fun, you know.
It's a good
Yeah.
time.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, like now that we're kind of wrapping up both of our projects,
Mm-hmm.
are you guys thinking about continuing, maybe taking it a step further when you're not
Ooh.
constricted by like timelines or?
I would say it's definitely possible,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not gonna be nearly as formal as this sort
yeah.
of thing is. Like it'll be
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
he'll be here, and I'll ask him if he wants to like, you know, make a song.
Make a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
It'll be a lot more fluid
Yeah.
once
I
it's all
think
over.
too this is like it's very difficult for us to like mesh our two things. Even though we've been able to do it, it's like
It's hard. It
it's
takes
hard.
a lot.
It takes a
of work.
lot
It takes
of
a
work.
lot of work. So, I mean, although we'll still like be trying to do that, we probably won't ever do anything like this.
Yeah, no,
again, like a
makes
big
sense.
project.
Anything like because
unless
Unless
maybe
we blow up.
things change.
Well,
I feel
that's kind of our thought.
I feel like for
process.
us
Yeah.
it's been like
Yeah.
we have a goal, which is to be done with high school and graduate. In order to do that, we have to put together a score project.
Yeah.
And our score project just so happens to be making a podcast, and yours is making an album. But even though you're not making it for an audience, you have an audience.
Yeah.
That you have to give them a finished product at the
Yeah.
end of the day. You have a deadline and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it does take a little bit of not necessarily the fun out of it, but like the informalism that
Yeah.
comes with doing something with just a couple friends.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like we've experienced that for sure.
Yeah, for
you know?
sure.
I feel like everybody doing an independent project would in general,
Yeah.
not necessarily like
Very true.
a podcast or a music album, just anything really. I think it goes back to what we were saying, like that overlooming, the fact that there's nobody watching you, but you still need to deliver,
Yeah.
is that kind of like pushing factor
Yeah.
for me at least, and I assume for all of you.
And the
boys.
thought that like people
Yeah, definitely.
could watch this. Like,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
my
like,
thing is
it's
like,
out there.
if we blow
Yeah.
up, we blow up, But if we
Exactly.
don't, we don't,
Yeah.
Um,
There's no
find
no
either
reason to
way.
get caught up in it.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you guys are still watching this at this point, like,
you're a real one.
yeah,
The real one.
we appreciate you.
Shout out.
So,
Very
Yeah,
true.
big shout
you're enlightened.
Have you
Yeah.
guys found have you guys found yourself to be censoring some of the stuff because you're giving it to it is a school project at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
There's some ideas that you
There's
just won't
some
go for.
songs that like we've made in the past that's like there's there's swears in it. There's like stuff that you don't really want
yeah.
like
to be
the
out
school
there.
to be associated with that
Mhm.
like we've had to cut. So like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that sort of. But like if we're making it, we just don't like.
Yeah, our style isn't like
Yeah,
too
It doesn't
vocal.
Yeah.
require
Of
like
course, yeah.
stuff like that. It's just like if it, I can't. I have to like if we start from the beginning and this like the song we're making is definitely like this is going on the album, like we'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
makes
I know
sense.
that we've experienced it a little bit,
Yes,
you know.
we have.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not and it has
the
nothing to
podcast
do
is tough because it's like one
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
spot.
it has nothing to do with like the school imposing rules on us, but mostly like what kind of
Respect.
product do we want to give
Yeah.
to the school
Yeah.
and the people who are
Yeah.
going to listen to
And plus, we
this.
gotta respect like the people who gave us this opportunity, because like we went up, we were like, can we do this independent project, and when they say
Yeah.
they expect you to keep it within school guidelines.
Yeah.
And, they were kind enough to say yes in the first place, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
do my part and
Yeah, I would rather keep
Give
it
it back.
professional and
Yeah.
make it look
Yeah,
good.
same.
Yeah.
you know?
exactly.
Yeah, I'm shocked at how like professional and well done you guys are doing just on the spot. Like you didn't really write anything out, and
Yeah.
you
it's
guys
going
are.
along very
Yeah, we
very
had like
nicely.
general guidelines.
Yeah,
but
we just like
Yeah.
it's
We don't go
much
off a
easier.
script, but like
because we want the conversation to feel
To
natural.
flow natural.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
want it to seem like, oh, this is fake. Like it's
next bullet point,
Yeah.
next bullet point,
Yeah.
next bullet point.
I think it has definitely improved over time.
Yeah,
Like
I
I think
think
if
so,
you look
too.
at our first one, it's a lot of us bumbling over our words and not try we can't
Yeah.
figure out what to say or anything like
Especially
that.
with the practice one we did over video games. We did one that wasn't
Yeah.
uploaded. We might upload it. We might not. It's not the best quality. We're just
Yeah,
it's
that
our
was like
first one
the
ever,
second
so-
day of the podcast.
Yeah.
yeah.
We got like the audio interface set up and then we
into
deep end, really.
yeah.
I think that one really has some good like conversation.
Yeah.
It hits you with some nostalgia.
Yeah.
nostalgia.
I think I've noticed with guests that a lot of them are, a little
Yeah.
bit nervous or stumble or stutter or
that-
something like
that's
that.
kind of like what we were in our
Yeah,
first
exactly. But
podcast, so.
over time we get
Yeah.
better and better at it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think to flip it, I've been impressed with some of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
professionalism
I was gonna
through
say.
that music. Like
Same.
it
Yeah,
it sounds
really
professional.
yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it could be on an album or
the
on
mixing.
like Apple Music
Well
or
done,
anything
well
like that.
produced, Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very professional. Is there
Indeed.
a lot of work that goes in just to making it sound professional?
Yeah, well, I do spend some time mixing, and obviously the mix isn't the greatest. Like, we listened on really good speakers,
Mm-hmm.
and people who aren't listening on amazing speakers,
Yeah,
sometimes, like, the claps and the snares will be, like, a little bit too aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to get, like, there are people that, like, make hundreds of thousands a year that literally just, like, mix songs for, like, professional musicians, and, like,
Yeah.
they don't
What-
even have any input into the creativity.
What is mixing? Just to-
It's basically just like making sure that you can hear everything, but also making sure that nothing is too loud.
It's like evening out all the volumes of
blending.
everything.
And you can like have whatever sort of style of mixing you want. Like a lot of like garage rock bands will just like they just have like a lo-fi style, so like
Mhm.
their
Yeah,
mixing
okay.
will be like a little bit muddier and stuff like that. But
I
like
see.
obviously hip hop and like that's like heavily produced music, it's kind of an expectation to have like a pretty clean mix.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I definitely put a lot of time into that, but it could be better.
I would say though, even though that we are like kind of in the whole we're at the end of the day we're pretty lo-fi.
Yeah.
We're doing this on a budget realistically, and we don't have
Same with us.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
have we can't spend out we don't even have the resources to mix our songs like
Mhm.
To the next level.
to the next
Yeah.
level.
Yeah,
exactly.
because like
So,
if we really wanted to get it nice, like we could have gotten like a audio or a soundproof like
Yeah.
vocal booth and stuff like
that's
that.
like ridiculous. We're
Yeah.
not trying to be something we're not.
Yeah, like,
we're
oh,
all lo-fi.
Yeah.
we just got some mics.
I mean,
and
so are
we
you
have
guys.
my
It's-
computer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like,
Yeah.
we get the basics and we just go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I feel like it's the same as you guys, because at the end of the day, this is our own money that we're putting into it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
bought the mics. You guys, I'm sure,
we
bought
bought the
mics or
equipment.
software, or speakers, or something like that to improve
Mhm.
your process.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like this isn't our job.
Yeah.
Like, this is something extra that we're doing on the side for school, and we have to put our own money into it. So
Yeah.
there's a limit on how much we can do and how much we can put towards it. And at the end of the day, that limits the quality of it, but we still try and get it as high as possible. And so do you guys. I think it's pretty clear through the songs that you showed us that, the
Thanks, yeah.
production value is very high, and it sounds like a professional record. I
feel
think
like
it
the
was really
quality
impressive.
Comes from like the content in a way, because we might not have the best stuff, but we want to do this podcast. Like
Yeah.
you want to do
Mhm.
this album,
Mhm.
so you're gonna bleed your heart out, do everything that you can on the software, and it'll sound great because you're really putting in the hours. Likewise for us, we're putting in the hours, stressing it out, making the convo happen. Same with you with all like what you call it, producing,
Yeah.
mixing with the guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
So you kind of fall on one thing with not having like the highest quality, like the $1,000 things, but you make up for it in content and your enjoyment, I feel.
100%.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of similarities
Yeah,
between our
yeah.
two projects,
Yeah.
just because we're both
Yeah.
independent projects and we're both doing it all ourselves, and we're our own bosses. We're making our own product. We're basically running a small business, or at least for us, we're running a small business
Yep.
and putting out a product. And you guys are working professionally as artists per se, and putting out an album
Yeah.
that that can be enjoyed if people listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's the same with us. There's a lot of similarities between it, and I think that comes from us, like it being a lot of audio. Like we're just putting out we're putting out a podcast, you're putting out music,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Based on creativity in a way.
Yeah.
Like you make a song, we kind of have to create on the spot what to converse about.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Flow. Like, I mean, of course, like we said, we have the guidelines, but we want it to sound nice and flow naturally. So we kind of gotta make it up on the spot while keeping relevant
Mhm.
to what our guidelines said originally.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
So.
But
Yeah, I think on that note.
yeah, I think I think that's a good place to end it.
Boys.
good.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for coming to the
Oh, wait,
podcast.
Can I plug the album real quick?
Oh yeah, plug the album.
Yeah. So our band is Kirkostatch. I'm not gonna bother spelling that, but the album's gonna be called W. Just,
Yeah.
Just
the letter W.
just
the
W.
letter W.
All right.
Okay. Well,
Everybody should check that out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't
thank
forget
you
to
for
like and
tuning
subscribe.
into all of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes.
We might be continuing it. We might not continue it, but at the very least, we'll have these 5 episodes
Yep.
up for
Yep.
you to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for tuning in,
Yeah,
and
thank
we'll
you.
see you next time.
Bye.